Oh man, I just did the math and totally forget. I think it's 58, Jenny, oh, we're gonna completely redo all of this. Don't worry. Cut. Hello, I'm T4, and today we're cranking up the power. So given that I'm building a city, I figured it would be good to actually produce some power. Like, don't get me wrong, my power plant... Actually, why don't I just show you? Don't get me wrong, this factory is definitely putting in the work, but I need more power, and if I want my city to grow, we're definitely going to need more than 2,700. So, let's build a new factory. Unfortunately, I'm not quite to fuel yet, which means I'm not quite to fuel power yet. All my fault because I'm focusing on building my city instead of advancing. Seriously reconsidering that decision. But I did find this spot over here with 1 or 2 coal nodes. So if you look up at my compass, I've got 5 nodes already set up and ready to go. I just gotta consider how I actually want to set up this factory, but I'm thinking I'm gonna take this area here, set up the jennies. Obviously I'll use this like river for the water. So let's get laying some foundations and run some math, because I gotta figure out how many generators I need. Okay, so a little bit of math later. I put down a couple of generators. I'm gonna overclock 4 of my extractors here. These 4 actually, because they're the closest ones, but I actually tapped a pure node over there as well. So if we take a look, I've got a couple of generators down. Just a couple. I forget how many there are here. 78, I think. I've got 5 sources of 240 a minute. So let's quickly run this and see what happens. So I'm gonna be producing 1,200 coal a minute. So I could fuel 80 generators a minute, but I'm actually only fueling, I think it's about 78. So there are 27 in the back row and in the middle row, and 24 in the front row. So we've got 27 plus 27 plus 24. So I have 78 power jennies, or coal jennies. Okay, so I got 78 coal jennies down. They're going to eat up most of the coal that I'm going to be producing over here. However, I'm going to siphon off some of the coal and turn it into gunpowder. I'll make like a little side factory or something for that over there. But for now, I've got to start getting ready for the water, running some pipes and belts, and get this all sorted out. So let's go. And with this, 57 water extractors in place to feed my 78 coal jennies. Oh boy, this pipe work is gonna hurt, but I'm hoping to make it look half decent. I'm also gonna unlock Mark II pipes, just so that I don't have to run as many pipes. All right, let's send this thing off so that I can get my Mark II pipes.
Milestone reached. Improved pipelines and pumps can now be constructed, capable of handling increased throughput of any fluid, as well as providing increased pressure handling for better vertical transport, respectively.
Now, I know I won't be able to use the Mark II pipes fully because I'm not producing any plastic or rubber yet, but I can still buy a couple stacks of that stuff so that I can limit the number of pipes I have to place, which is all I want to do. Basically, I just don't want to have to run 1,000 pipes. If I can cut it in half, I'm going to cut it in half where I can. Okay, so I've got the pipes in, at least from the extractors. They're all balanced and ready to go. And this guy here in the center is actually overclocked. So he alone will feed a single pipe. And I'm trying out a new balancing system. I have no idea if it's going to work, but I actually connected all the pipes except for this one together. And the intention is that if a pipe is lacking or has extra, it'll just self-balance way back here. So we'll see what happens. So I've got the Mark II pipes in. I'm going to use it to kind of limit how many places I have to come up into the factory. Unfortunately, I can't make them any longer than they are now, so I'm just going to have to combine some of these other ones into the Mark IIs. so that I can actually fill them properly. I don't think it'll be too bad, but let's see how this goes. I'm also concerned about head lift and backflow, so I'll address that after I turn everything on so that I don't waste materials. Okay, I think we've got it all sorted. I've connected everything. I know it's not like the prettiest job. This is where I'm gonna remind everybody that I am still kind of new to this game, even if I have like 100 and something hours on this world. I'm not as experienced as like say Total or Kibitz or any of them, but I'm trying. Let's get these belts in. I've got it started. I've got these 4 overclocked to do 240 a minute. Now I just got to figure out how to actually load balance in some way, shape, or form. So my pure node, I'm just feeding straight in over here. It will cover most of this line. Unfortunately, not all of it. So one of my other lines will have to take up the end as well. Because I didn't really feel like doing anything too crazy, I just ran it straight into the side instead of trying to come up underneath and do any kind of load balancing or anything of that. I'm just using the manifold method for this factory because I'm kind of lazy, and you're gonna notice that as you watch more and more of my videos. And with that, I have all of my belts in. As you can see, I've got some splitters going on here. They're actually smart splitters, and what they're doing, they're just taking the extra from each line and they're gonna feed this one here. Basically, I needed 6 lines in order to feed all of my coal jennies without it being completely ugly. So I just split off of each of them so that I could provide the 6th input. And then all I did was just bring everything up through the floor. Same with the pipes, it comes up through the floor and then balances out. The Mark II goes directly into Mark 1s. And then this one, I kind of wish I could have made a little bit prettier, but it is what it is for now. I'm gonna focus on cosmetics for this factory a little bit later on down the road. Right now, I just wanted to get the power done so that I can keep focusing on my city. Just a reminder, I'm way out here in the middle of nowhere and my city's down here. So this isn't exactly a priority for looking pretty because it's gonna be a while before I see it on a regular basis. I ran power towers so that I could bring some power from my other factory over here to actually get this thing running. So you can see I've got coal coming in, water pumps running. Kind of. Why isn't that one running? It's missing a power line. There we go. Now I got that one running. Check all these lights here, make sure everything's running. No, I don't have a hover pack or a jet pack yet. So you're gonna have to handle my jumping. All right, I see lights. But I don't see a lot of smoke, so maybe we're gonna have to address the water. Well, I got most of the generators running. I am still having a little bit of water issues, and in my haste to get this factory done, I've missed some of the belts. I'll show you what I mean. So I've come across a couple of spots where between my blueprints, I just kind of forgot to connect the belts. But we're not going to talk about it other than the fact that I totally just showed you. We're just going to fix it and hope that everything works out. All right, here we go. I got everything running 100%. I am still sending in too much coal. I haven't sorted that out yet. Maybe I'll deal with that a little bit down the road or next. We'll see what happens. But I'll give you a quick tour of how I've got this thing set up. So we already talked about my 78 coal generators. Down here in the ugly bowels, I've got the coal and water coming up. I did have to throw a bunch of pumps and valves on things just to make sure the water flows properly to feed everything, because the center here was giving me a little bit of trouble. So as we can see down here, the smart splitter is only sending off the extra. I've also got pumps on all of my lines. Even if I didn't need it, it felt prudent just to make sure that the water was getting to where it needed to be. and I ended up having to put valves on all of my junctions just to make sure there wasn't too much backflow, because I was finding that without these valves here, the water would just like basically fight itself in a circle here and wouldn't actually go up the pipes. So there we go. I've got the power now. I need to get the city, but what I'm gonna do next is set up a temporary holding, or what I'm calling a temporary holding, for my factories that aren't here. Mainly being the steel factory and the quartz. I'm gonna bring into a temporary holding facility here, and then use smaller cars to distribute the materials. That way I don't overload any truck stations, and I can drop the stuff off in my building supply without overloading these truck stations. Until then, I'm T4. Thanks for hanging around. Don't forget to feed the algorithm gods by clicking all that crap down below. Also, check out the description for some other playlists and my Twitch, because we're jumping into Baldur's Gate. I'll see you later.